Hey everyone, this is James Tierney from TierneyEducation.com. I got a text message this morning from a student who was struggling a little bit with the concept of expected value. So I wanted to explain it rather quickly and then give a very fast, a very straightforward example. So let's go ahead and get started. First, let's talk about how we're going to calculate the expected value. So by definition, our expected value is just we have an event, right? There's an event that's happening at some probability, like it's going to rain today or maybe not, 50-50 chance, or flipping a coin or anything like that. So we want to find what is the expected outcome. You know, maybe it'll never happen one way or the other. It's a mix of them, and that's where we get the term expected. And then the value is just the value that we associate it with. What I need you to really know about calculating expected value is it's always going to be the payoff. And sometimes you think of payoff as something like the payment, comma, the win, the dollar amount, whatever it is, right? There's some sort of payoff of the event occurring. Let me give you an example here. Like an example might be something like you get $50 if you flip a coin and it's heads, right? So you have some sort of payoff. That's your payoff of the event occurring. The event is flipping a coin and it's heads. So again, I know I'm going to go slow with this, but I just want to make sure we understand it. The way that we're calculating this is we first take that payoff, and then we are going to multiply. So we're going to multiply it, a big X here for timesing or multiplying. We're going to multiply it by the probability that the event occurs. Over here, the example, like flipping a coin, its heads, that would be 1/2. So 1 out of every 2 times the coin will end up being heads. So it's always the payoff of the event occurring times the probability that the event occurs. Now you do this exact same thing for every event that might occur. So like if we do this with a coin flipping heads, we would also have to do it with a coin flipping to tails. So what you'll do is you take all of these, so take all of the possibilities and add them up. So we're going to sum them up afterwards. So again, you're going to calculate expected value by whatever the events are, the probability of that event times the payoff, and add them up. If you're looking for something for a flashcard, expected value calculations, you take the probability times the payoff, add it up for all of the different possibilities. Let's scroll up and do an example. Let's say you're given a 6-sided die. So a 6-sided die, and all of them are equal probabilities. So the chance a 1 ends up showing up is equal to 1 out of 6. The possibility that a 2 shows up is 1 out of 6. 3 is 1 out of 6. 4 is 1 out of 6. 5 is 1 out of 6. And 6 is 1 out of 6. And this is a good time to talk about how all of these are going to have to add up to 100% or to 1. So you can always check your work because all of the possibilities have to add up to 1. Now that we know the probability that the event happens, let's go ahead and change colors here and say, what's the payoff going to be? So let's say if it's a 1 or a 2, you get $5. If it's a 3, you lose $10. Let's say if it's a 4 or 5, you get $15, and if it's a 6, you lose $20. So what is the expected value? What am I expected to win? What am I expected to win or lose? Like, what's the expected outcome? Well, like we said, it's always going to be the probability times the payoff, and then we just add them up. Again, this is what you really need to remember, probability times the payoff, and add them up. So if it's a 1 or a 2, well, that's going to be 2 times out of 6 is my probability, times my payoff, which is $5. So that's this part right here. I'll do some different colors so that way we can really identify each one of these separately. So now if a 3 happens, I lose $10. Well, a 3 is only 1 time out of 6, and I lose, so that's a -10. Again, I'm going to switch colors here so that way we can show every single one. A 4 or a 5, that's 2 out of the 6 possibilities. So plus 2 over 6 times we get, that's a positive, $15. And then last but not least, we'll get one more color here to, again, really break this down to kind of show, like, if this is the 6, you lose 20. 6 happens only 1 out of every 6 times, and we lose, the negative sign is 20. So we add all of this up, and this right here, whatever this number ends up being, which we'll do here in a second, this is what we define as the expected value of this game. So now we just use our calculator or our algebra skills. The expected value, well, 2 6 times 5 is going to be our 10 over 6. And then, once it's going to actually be a negative, we're going to have minus 10 over 6. All right, so this is 10 over 6. This is negative 10 over 6. Now we've got 30 over 6 as a positive. That's that number. And then we're going to get minus 20 over 6. That's that one. So we're just making this easier for us to calculate. Now we just go and we say, okay, well, 10 over 6 minus 10 over 6. Well, that's just going to cancel. We've got 30 over 6 minus 20 over 6. Well, 30 minus this is going to be 10 over 6. And if we wanted to, we could go ahead and make that, 5 over 3 by reducing it. And then that's going to be approximately 1.67. So if these were in dollar values, my expected value of this example would be 1.67. So it is a positive expected value. You should do this bet if you ever had this chance. However, you might lose 20, but you could gain 15. You might lose 10, but you could gain 5. The concept here is if we were to do this over and over and over again, what would we expect to happen? And that would be $1.67. So again, that's a very quick explanation of expected value and a little bit of an example. Again, I know we went through this rather quickly and we chatted a lot. And for some of you, you might have been like, this was really obvious, but that's okay. I try to make my videos as straightforward, as simple as possible. If you have any questions, please go ahead, leave them in the comments. Send me an email, james@tierneyeducation.com. You can go ahead and subscribe, all of those things, and we'll make sure we post another video soon.